There's many
he could have said anything.
Andrew Tate, but
He could have said anything.
Of course.
I mean, I'm saying, let's go Joe Rogan.
Guys, Joe could have said anything, but he said what he said. That's my thing. He could have said but I'm saying he could have said anything, but he said what he said. And I'm not saying it's not
a lot of gay violence that took place after his problematic videos. I put it solely on him with my chest, and I will always put it on him.
Okay.
Uguti, some people got up in arms and said we're going to fight physically against the entire LGBT community. Because I put on him with my chest.
Yes. But now, in principle,
what did he say for you to put him on his
No, I don't know that. I don't know that. So I'm not going to speak, but I'm saying, he's very, very validating what he's saying about that. I'm saying,
what did he say? The center of the Western conversation about
what did he say?
Outlawing homosexuality in education. Because if you put homosexuality in education, then you're indoctrinating kids to...
He didn't say that.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but he's not
he's
saying
at the center of that headspace.
No, but he's not saying that.
Number one, he did say it. And
he said, no. He said, let's take away all forms of sexuality. Why
would we take it away? People have sexuality in school.
No, but again...
Why would we take it out of education?
So when are you getting this as third hand? Né? What I'm trying to say is that there is levels to how we expose our kids to... Say I've got 2 moms or 2 dads. There's a way in which we've got a way of explaining that people have families of having 2 moms and 2 dads or whatever the case may be. There's a way I would not, as a parent, let's just talk about heterosexual parents. Okay. I wouldn't want what they were talking about, the grim, detailed education around what's happening in the bedroom.
No,
that was the fight.
No, let's not talk about that. No, Penson, no.
But you're not talking about something concrete.
In terms that makes sense and are real for you right now. I do
a form of theater. I
do a form of theater called pantomime.
Okay. All right.
I do a form of theater called pantomime, right? Every December.
Yeah.
If you catch me in theater in December, I'm in a panto. And if I'm in a panto, I'm in drag.
Okay.
But a panto is a family show. It's designed for everybody in the family to attend.
Okay.
When you come with your 3 sons to come watch the panto, do you expect them to look at Blessing that they already know personally because their father knows him personally, differently because he's going to be in drag in that show?
If I
see it as indoctrination?
Let me answer your question. If I bring my 3 sons
to the family panto.
Forget the family. Let's say it's not family.
It's a family show.
Let's ignore that for now. If I bring my son,
as in it's not beefcake. It's not a drag show and a sex club.
No, but Anita, I want to go back to Andrew. I want to go back to Andrew. If I bring my son as a father, I've made a parental decision to what? That fight that Andrew Tate was talking about.
If someone else brought your sons.
No, you're not going to take my sons to any place that I disagree with.
As in, if your sons
why
were
would
with
you disagree with them going to a panto?
No, because I don't know what it is.
No,
it's like vagina monologues. Let's say there's a child version of vagina monologues.
What's the child version?
I don't know what it is. I don't know. This is my body. No, let's just say vagina monologues. Yeah. There's a child version.
Indoctrinating.
But let's say
there's a feminist movement.
Let's say there's a child version. They've dumbed it down for kids. I'd say I'd like to see that.
That's not what panto is.
I don't know.
Christmas show.
That's fine.
And one of the people on stage
but you are dressed in drag, and that's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying I would love to bring my kids.
You've seen me
because
you saw me do Shakespeare.
Yes, I would love to bring my kids to a place. I, as primary caregiver, I don't want someone to do something without my.
But wouldn't you deem that holistically safe? Let me
go to something totally different.
But is it not just as
let's
safe
say some person wants to say they want to take my child to a mosque.
Yeah.
If I'm not in that space, I'm like, no, you don't take my child there. Because I don't agree to that. I don't subscribe to a mosque. I'm not going to be forced to someone to send my child to a mosque when I'm not agreeing with that. If I'm a staunch Christian.
Kids are going because they're friends with the Muslim kid. So
if I don't subscribe.
And it's Ramadan and
I'll give an example. Let me tell you what I've told parents of kids. I said, understand if you give your child into my care. Look at me in my eyes here. I'm the captain here. So my methods of parenting, if your child walks through my doors, I am Alpha and Omega. So if I believe in giving kids the people's elbow, spare the rod, spoil the child. The moment you say yes, they can come into
People's
my
elbow.
space. The moment you say yes to it, because you're not forced into it. Understand that I will parent your child the same way that I parent my child.
Sure.
So when I send my child into a space, because he's got an Asian friend, and I think they are my Buddhist or my vegetarian. Ne?
Yes, I think it's the Chinese New Year.
I watch my
somewhere in the
boy
middle of it.
eating meat like no one's business. Don't know why you eating so much meat, because he knows, hey, the weekend. Spinach. And I'm saying I'm agreeing because once I put them in that space. So if there's an Islamic family that do mosque and pray 5 times a day, and I've agreed and subscribed to that, sure. But I'm not going to let some school dictate things. Again, I want to stick on heterosexual stuff. If they send into a space where I deem the school might all think it's fair, but I deem it might be too graphic. Heterosexual. Mom, dad, whatever.
But
I will say no.
why would something that's
Why does it become
non-heterosexual
more graphic when it's gay?
No, I'm just saying.
No, but we're asking that question.
We're going back to Andrew Tate.
If there's a picture of mom and dad.
For me,
So I'm going back to it. Okay, let's go back to Andrew Tate.
Next page
Can I
is
tell you?
dad
Okay,
and dad.
wait.
Okay,
Can I
let's go
tell you
back
what
to
my
Andrew
irk
Tate,
is?
'cause I know this Andrew Tate thing that you guys talking about.
The irk for me.
If the next page is
Yeah.
dad and dad.
But they were showing
Why
sexual
is that
things.
in the
How
wrong?
to give a guy a blowjob.
That's
That's
very
mom and
specific.
dad.
That's very specific.
That's what he was going against. That's
But
why I'm
it's very
disagreeing.
specific.
That's what I'm agreeing with. I'm disagreeing
there
with
can be
Blessing.
people who will do something in a certain way where it's like bazokhombisa ukuthi like what the sexual orientation is, like with like how gay people, with how whatever and even heterosexual, okay? Even heterosexual, they can show ukuthi this is how a penis goes into vagina, and you should have the same amount of
problematization
and issue.
It should
At what
be equally
age?
problematic.
You know what I mean?
At what age?
Because now you see it in ethics, it does
Andrew
that.
Tate was talking about 8, 9-year-olds.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't matter.
I don't want my 8-year-old seeing a penis going into a vagina.